This is Property 101 with Steve. Flipping, renovation, and property tips and tricks. I'm at the whiteboard, I'm in the field, I'm chatting to experts. It's 100% me, real and raw. Made possible by Saint-Gobain and Curve Gear.
Frustrated with how long your property transfer is taking? Confused about where you are in the process or what's happening behind the scenes? Well, this video is a complete guide to the South African property transfer process from both the buyer's and seller's perspective. I'll break down every step, the people involved, and the timelines you can actually expect. For this video, I'll be dealing with a residential property transfer from individuals to individuals, where a home loan is involved, because this is the majority of property transactions. Firstly, the buyer will make an offer on a property. The offer to purchase or agreement of sale highlights the purchase price, conditions of sale, among other things. Once accepted and signed by buyer and seller, this is a legally binding contract and it needs to be in writing. An estate agent will assist and facilitate this process. I'll start the timeline at offer acceptance date. Within a matter of days, the estate agents will instruct the attorneys known as conveyancers. They are responsible for the entire property transfer process from seller to buyer. The conveyancers are appointed by the sellers. Interestingly, up to 3 attorneys can be involved in a transfer. The conveyancer that handles the property transfer, the bond registration attorney registers the buyer's new home loan, and the bond cancellation attorney cancels the seller's existing bond. One of the first things the conveyancers will do is request the title deed, and this is the official proof of ownership of a property. It will come from either the seller's current bank if bonded, or from the seller if no bond over the property. A delay could be experienced here if the title deed is missing. At this stage in the timeline, the bond cancellation figures will be requested to determine the amount still owing by the seller on their bond, and this can take 2 or so weeks. So on the timeline, we're at a few days after offer acceptance. Simultaneously, the bond application takes place. Most home purchases are financed by a home loan from the bank or finance house. You can obviously pay cash for a property if you have the funds. It's quite a complex process, so my advice is to use a bond originator like Get-Go Home Loans. They negotiate on your behalf with the banks to try and secure the best interest rate and terms, and there's no charge for you as the buyer. It removes a lot of the stress and hassle, and they submit to all the banks. Sometimes the bank that you bank with doesn't actually give you the best rate, or they don't even give you a bond at all. It's weird, and even if you've been banking with them for many years, it's happened to me before actually. And an important note, you could receive an approval in principle from the bank, but don't rely on this. They carry out more checks that could result in you not getting a final bond grant. Banks look at your affordability, creditworthiness, and they will value the property before granting the bond. Another important tip, the banks may not make you aware of conditions that they've added to the bond. For example, bond approval being subject to property plans being furnished or subject to the sale of an existing property. It can take approximately 1 to 2 weeks for the bond to be granted. So once the bond has been granted, this is generally the time that municipal rates clearance figures are requested. The municipality won't allow a property to be transferred unless all rates, taxes, water, electricity, sewer and refuse are paid in full. They also require advance payment, usually 3 to 6 months worth of charges up front. And this clearance figure gets requested from the municipality and paid by the seller. Now, I've had a few properties where estimates were being billed or there's no electricity meter, and this can cause delays because a full actual billing run needs to take place before clearance figures can be issued. So on the timeline, we're about 1 to 2 weeks after offer acceptance. Before signing, the following needs to be in place: an approved bond, and bond cancellation figures, which can take up to 2 weeks to receive. The conveyancer prepares documentation for buyers and sellers to sign in person, and they will make sure they have your FICA docs, declarations, they'll check solvency, marital status, among others. On the timeline, this is about 4 weeks after offer acceptance. It's at this stage that you are presented with your costs. The buyer pays transfer costs, transfer duty, bond registration costs. And before you embark on buying a property, you need to be aware of these costs because they are over and above the purchase price. So chat to the estate agent to get clarity on this before making your offer. For example, a home that's 2.5 million, your costs will be over 100,000. The seller pays sales commission, bond cancellation costs if applicable, municipal rates clearance figures, and the certificates of compliance. As seller, you will receive a pro rata refund on your advance payment for the municipal rates because the advance period will be longer than the actual property transfer timeline. So now we're at about 5 weeks after offer acceptance. Once transfer and bond docs are signed and cancellation figures are in, the conveyancer calls for guarantees for the purchase price. A guarantee is basically a document from the buyer's bank stating that they guarantee to pay out the funds as per the purchaser's bond grant. The bond attorneys will issue the following guarantees: a guarantee to pay out the outstanding bond amount to the seller's bank, and a guarantee for the balance to pay into the conveyancer's trust account, which becomes due to the seller. The municipality will issue the rates clearance certificate, stating that all the municipal charges, including the advance amounts, have been paid by the seller. Transfer duty receipt is received. SARS issues a receipt stating that the transfer duty, which is basically the tax on the property transfer, has also been paid by the seller. Now, the seller is responsible for making sure the property has an electrical certificate of compliance, which is a licensed electrician issuing a document confirming that the home's electrics are safe, legal, and compliant. And this is also required if the home has a gas connection and an electric fence. Now we're at about 6 to 8 weeks after offer acceptance. Now, the Deeds Office is a government institution responsible for maintaining South Africa's official property registry. There's different deeds offices serving specific regions. Lodgement takes place when the transfer, bond registration, and bond cancellation documents are all physically sent to the Deeds Office together. And this is once guarantees and clearances are in place. Then the deal goes on prep when everything's approved and the documents are placed in line for registration. Deeds Office examination takes about 7 to 10 working days, and it goes through 3 examiner levels to make sure everything is in place. Now, registration is when ownership of the property officially changes hands and any new bond is registered while the seller's bond is cancelled and funds are paid out as per the guarantees. Now, Deeds Office delays do happen. The transfer can be rejected if examiners are not happy with something. For example, something simple like a spelling error, or they pick up a sequestration or an ID number is wrong. Recently, the Johannesburg Deeds Office shut down due to elevators being non-compliant, so no one could actually go to work. So these sorts of things do happen. Now, the timeline for the full registration of transfer, the whole process, is about 8 to 10 weeks after offer acceptance. But this is in an ideal world. In reality, the entire transfer takes 10 to 12 weeks, generally 3 months, and could be longer if there are significant delays. After registration, new title deed and other registered documents are released to the conveyancers, and that's the entire process. So a few other things that are common. The seller could be a VAT vendor, and in this case, as buyer, the purchase price will include VAT, so you don't pay transfer duty. You basically only pay one type of tax. Now, if a property is in a complex or an estate, there will be levy or homeowners association clearances for the seller to settle in addition to municipal clearance figures. Then you do get offers subject to sale of an existing home, which means the buyer's offer to purchase a property is conditional on them first selling their current home. And this becomes a suspensive condition in the agreement, so the sale only goes ahead if they manage to sell their own property. If the buyer doesn't sell their home in time, the offer falls away with no obligation, and estate agents are allowed to continue marketing the property until the suspensive condition is met. Estate agents should guide you through the whole property transfer process, and you should receive updates from conveyancers, and you have the right as buyer and seller to check in and deal with the conveyancers directly to ask any questions, etc. So disclaimer, this process is from my experience with property over the years. And yes, I have double checked everything, done my research, but remember, I'm not a lawyer or conveyancer, and the timeline and order of things could differ to what I've laid out, depending on the parties involved and the unique circumstances. Remember to always deal with reputable attorneys that are registered with the Law Society and have an updated Fidelity Fund certificate because they deal with other people's money held in trust. Thanks guys, I hope this has been informative, and I know there's a lot to it and it's hard to sum up everything in one video. It's a lot of information. So if you want me to delve deeper into a certain scenario or to answer a specific question, please do let me know. Thanks.
And importantly, my YouTube stats show that only 34% of you watching right now are subscribed to the channel. It's easy and free. Just make sure you're logged into your Google account and hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel grow and you'll never miss an episode. And you guys need to let me know what you want to learn from me in the series. Comment below.
Flipping Johannesburg is constructed by Saint-Gobain and Steve is outfitted by Curve Gear.